everyone, welcome back to my channel, back with a book review, a series review actually. Now, I don't read LitRPG for a few reasons, and none of which come from a place of elitism. Not every book that I've enjoyed in the past is destined or even deserves to have a status of a classic in a literary or a genre sense. More often than not, I think that a good page turner that moves at a brisk pace is an art into itself. I like to equate it to a good pop song. There's a lot of really bland pop music floating around in every decade, every year, and some of those songs persevere and you can still hear them on the radio. Now I'm a eternally old person, but like there is a reason why I can still hum lyrics to most of Hall & Oates songs, for example. And that's a testament to good writing. Same thing with pulpy enjoyment. And I mentioned that I mostly avoid LitRPG. What are LitRPG? In a nutshell, it's any type of story. It's usually where a protagonist from our world is transported by some means into a parallel world that operates under video gamey rules. It's usually present in anime as Isekai, but it's been creeping up in books recently, at least as far as I can tell. And I avoid it because even though I am a self-professed lover of all things pulpy and campy, I still want some level of character development or even discernible traits in its cast. And most often than not, works in this subgenre use characters merely as vehicles and tools for self-insert, for wish fulfillment, for power fantasy. A power fantasy that quantifies itself as crunchy RPG mechanics into its narrative in a very direct way. You have literal user interface, UI elements that are visible to the protagonist. You have explicit leveling system. You have distinction between non-player characters and other human characters that are transported into this video game-like world. And most conflicts are resolved thanks to the fact that the protagonist was a gamer prior to transferring to this world. And since he has knowledge about video game systems and thinking outside of the box, he uses that knowledge and experience to break the rules of said world and uses that to his or her advantage. Usually his, it's mostly dudes, let's be real. So, here comes today's series called Dungeon Crawler Carl, written by Matt Dinniman. And it's proof that surprises are hidden in most auspicious places. So, what sets it apart from other books? Well, the premise is as follows. The Earth is conquered and aliens terraform it into this giant, sprawling, multi-level arena for a deadly reality show that's watched by the rest of the galaxy. And our contestant is the titular Carl, who in the middle of winter follows his ex-girlfriend's cat outside, Princess Donut, and enters the, entrance to this arena by accident as the invasion starts. And inside, he is trying to survive deadly enemies, monsters, but also conflicting corporate interests that drive the same intergalactic game, reality show guest spots, sponsorships, various interpretation of rules, you name it. It's paired with a genuine sense of satire that threads somewhere between Terry Gilliam's Brazil at its darkest and Discworld at its punniest, I'd say. Now, it's not perfect, but it has genuine heart. Its characters have amazing chemistry. And that being said, if you're averse to the genre, both main characters, Carl and Donut the Cat, they do gain levels, they gain new spells and gear and all that it entails. And that can be overbearing. And also, some of the levels, notably I think in book 3, the one with the trains, can be too convoluted for its own good. But the way I see it is, if you would remove all of the video gamey elements from this book, it would still read like a really good version of Running Man. And to me, that's as good as it gets. I personally read it on Kindle because I saw it on a whim in a random thread on r/fantasy, and it was like I think $1 on sale. And but I hear excellent things about the audiobook, so maybe try that. Tell me if you read this series. Do give me recommendations if you are more familiar with this genre than I am. And all in all, I highly recommend this. And special thanks to my Patreon supporters, Ethan and Katie, and everyone else who watches this. And please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. And also a little side note, I have moved all of my music to a separate music channel, so it's a channel where I post fantasy and sci-fi inspired instrumentals that I compose in my free time. So if you're interested in that, have a look. It's going to be in the description. So thanks a lot, and see you next time. Bye bye.